Okay, putting in a shower door so I don't get water splashing on the floor and going through the ceiling down on the first floor. Took 3 measurements. This is where the shower bar was, and this is where the top bar is going to be for the shower door. And it's going to overhang this part here and just go up from here all the way to here. So I took that measurement. Okay, and then the side bars are going to go straight up. They're the easiest. Don't need to really trim them except from the bottom, which I'll show you in a second. I measured from here to here, so that's a shorter length, and I marked with marker on the actual parts. And that what I just showed you is going to be for the bottom here, and the doors are going to slide. The other measurement is this curve here. So this is a curve. They say you can take like a coin or a dime or something. I got lucky and I eyeballed. I figured it would be either a AAA, AA, C, or even D battery. And I picked the C one first, and I got lucky with that because that appears to be pretty close. Kind of hard to see on the video, but that's fairly close. And then what I would do is I will just trace this battery over the spot, turn it on its side at the ends of each side of the bottom rail, and then I'm going to mark that with a marker around, trace the battery, and then cut it, and then use a file to smooth that out so that can go all the way up to there. And you'll need to be able to cut it at least as much as that radius, because if you don't, then you'll have some part of it sticking out at the bottom or over here at the side. And then when you caulk it, you'll just caulk around the edges so no water will get underneath there. Here's where I marked the top part. That's going to be the very top, and that's going to be on top of these side rails here. And then I marked the bottom part, the bottom rail, and that's going to be cut with a hacksaw and then filed smooth. And then I won't be done with that because I'll still need to be able to cut the sides. After I cut it to length, then I'll be able to put this and then trace it, because the length will be from here, from the middle. And then I'll trace that and then cut that so that I'll be able to go at the bottom. And this part will go in the front. I'll have a little brush. And then this is the towel bar that'll be on the outside of the outer door. I'm going to be using just clear silicone, 100% silicone around the edges. Would have been nice to have almost like a weather stripping kind of thing. I don't have a right size for it, but that can fit under there, and then that could be watertight. Otherwise, you're supposed to put a bead of caulk in that channel there. This is it upside down. Put a bead of caulk in there, and then this will be the outside. And then water, if any water splashes, should just drip down the front, back into the shower. And I'm going to be making marks to drill holes and using the supplied. Some of the supplied anchors are probably also metal toggle bolts if they can fit. If they can fit, then I would trust these to tighten up the side rails to the sides of the shower a little bit more than these, but I'll use these for the other ones. And this should be, I believe, a 5/16 hole. I have to double check that. And these will be a 3/8 inch hole, stainless steel. Getting the measurement up here and here. That's for the top rail. And you can see you add 2 3/4 inches to this measurement. But I'm actually just going to transfer this directly because I have the rail laying in the other room. So I'm just going to lay this right on top, mark it. Do the same here. Again, if you wanted to write the number down, you just add 2 3/4 inches to whatever you measure it at. But again, I'm just going to put this to the other room. And for this measurement, you just take something that's round. You could take a coin, either a dime or a nickel or something, and try to see what this radius is. And it should be close enough when I transfer this. And this is easy to just trace around and then cut the side parts. I'm going to first try with tin snips with a file. Otherwise I could use a metal fine tooth jigsaw, and then either way I could use a Dremel grinder to grind it, to file it, to help file it if it's if I'm having trouble filing it should be the easy part. Alright, so this is the outside here, and that is where I'm going to trace this battery. I'm going to put it all the way up to the end and slightly inward so I can trace it. The same on this side if I can. Basically just going at an angle from here to here, and then rounding it off. For the jambs, the vertical bars, see how much I can cut here. And there it is cut. Watch your file so you don't scratch it like I did. Learn from my mistakes. But that's able to fit so that the main point is that so this can fit flat and so can the jambs. So I'm also going to do the same thing as the jambs. And actually they might cover that scratch off, but either way be careful. Here, same thing. I was able to round it off. I mean, you can get away with kind of almost like a diagonal cut if you have to, and then just this is going to get filled with silicone caulk anyway. And then same thing on the other side. Just want to make sure that they fit. And this is with the jambs cut and filed. So as you can see, it's down, and it's also all the way flat. And I'll get this plumb and tape them, but I have to caulk underneath the bottom rail first. Alright, so now I'm going to put silicone caulk in this little channel here. Inside that channel, and this will go with the tall side facing out. And then that'll be put here, and then I'll tape this so that I can put the jambs on. After everything is done, then there will be caulk on the outside. I already put some on this horizontal spot here, but then on the outside we'll also have a vertical caulk on the inside and outside of everything. This doesn't need to be screwed to the shower because I'm going to drill holes here, 5/16, put anchors in there, and then that will hold this and this won't ever move. Here I have silicone in that track on the inside, and like I said, later we'll put silicone on the outside. And here they're about a 1/2 inch. This part of the jamb is about a 1/2 inch from the surface of the shower, so you can't really mark it with a pencil unless you have something very sharp. So I'm just going to drill little pilot holes. I have it taped. It is so both sides are plumb. So now I'm just going to drill little pilot holes in each of these holes,
And then I'll take these off. And then I'll drill holes, put in the anchors, put these back on, screw them in, and then as I tighten them, make sure it's plumb again. So I use this stepper bit to get the 5/16 hole here. And I put tape around it so it doesn't split. Up here I hammered it and it kind of cracked. That was after I took the tape off. So leaving this tape on is a good idea to prevent this fiberglass from splitting. And your situation may vary, but it looks like I have a OSB board behind on each side up here for the top 4. So I'm just going to screw directly into that. I'm not going to make larger holes. Here I have a cavity behind here, which is perfect for these anchors. So if you have wood or something behind, you can screw it into it to secure the jambs. But not if you have drywall behind. You want to make sure you drill through that. But it seems like I have wood and that should be fine. But down here I'll put the anchors in. Bumpers in the middle one. Horizontal so either door can hit it. Not vertical. Here I had to get longer screws to get into the plywood behind here. I used the included anchor for this one down here and that worked fine. And in this one I had such a cavity here that I used a 1/8 toggle bolt. So that's not going anywhere. Real tight to the back of this material. Here again I had a particle board on the top. So I screws directly into it. Bumper, rubber bumper, horizontal. Now I just have to assemble the parts of the door and then put the top on, put the rollers on the door, and then put the doors up. I'm going to have a very narrow door. This was the minimum space between, this is minimum size, minimum width. It was, I think it was like 44 inches to something, 48 inches or something like that. Mine is exactly 44 inches, so that means that it's going to be a more narrow door. In hindsight, maybe I should have considered a swing door, but this was just easy, and it's better than a shower curtain. Alright, I didn't show you putting it up, but it's essentially just leaning the door in, and then the wheels go right on this track, and then it hangs, and then the weight of it hangs it down. And then one of the last things to do is to put that front part of the inner door, which goes under this and holds it tight so it can't pull out. And it has that pile brush that slides against the inside of this so that you can have a sliding door, and you can loosen this or tighten this if it's too difficult to turn. And then here is just the towel bar. That was easy. That goes on the outside. And there is just a bushing that goes right on the inside of the front door. And then every screw should get these little bumpers or covers, so it'll cover the screw and also help it, because this is not perfectly plumb. It's plumb this direction, but you're just at the whim of the shower door, so this kind of pushes in a little bit, so the lower screws can actually bump before the bumper. Same on this side, depends on your shower, but little bumpers, little covers on the screws. You can put the covers on the screws here, but I think they're covered. That should be fine. I did have to cut the top to make it lower, so I'm just going to cover that with white silicone. So it is what it is. I had to do it. So yeah, this is the inner door. And this door opens up, shuts, keeps it from falling off because of this front part in there. And then that's it. And then it covers up. No water can come out. Last thing to do is to put silicone on the outside. So I'll put white silicone there to cover up that, so that won't look bad anymore. You have to do sometimes. But this slide's nice. You can adjust up here. You can adjust the wheels if one side is leaning, because of course this might not be perfectly square. Or you can raise the entire door or lower it, because the holes for the wheels on the inside of here, I can't see it right now, but are slanted. So you can raise them up or lower them. I put them all at the middle to start with, and I don't see a reason to adjust them. Alright, that's it. That is a new shower door where there was none before.